Hello and welcome to a special edition of Battle Cry. I'm Gaurav Sawant. On the show today, our top focus, China rapidly building infrastructure both in Tibet and in the Xinjiang province. From additional runways to parking additional aircraft to missile silos to deploying additional fighter resources. On Battle Cry, we focus on the line of no control from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh.
It's the world's biggest military standoff. After 15 months of friction in Ladakh, a dense calm becomes the status quo. But now China escalates big again. New air bases, new weapons and movements. India responds and rebalances its forces. Ladakh's new dawn of conflict is the big story this week on Battle Cry.
India has a major advantage of geography in Ladakh. China was taken aback by Indian Army's swift quid pro quo operations on the south and north bank of the Pangong Tso and the speedy deployment of India's air assets. In the past 1 year, China has desperately tried to counter that advantage that India has. China is also rapidly building infrastructure both in Tibet and in Xinjiang. India Today magazine's executive editor Sandeep Unnithan gets us this India Today magazine exclusive.
It's been 15 months of the world's biggest current military standoff. High up in the Himalayas, India and China remain locked in a freezing face-off in eastern Ladakh. But even though the situation has calmed down at the front lines since the beginnings of a disengagement in February, the bigger conflict has just gotten more hostile. And once again, it's China raising strategic temperatures. Battle Cry reported in April that while India was gripped by COVID-19's second wave, the Chinese army had reinforced in eastern Ladakh depth areas with permanent accommodations and depots. And now, China's aggressions have found an even bigger manifestation, a massive military aviation buildup, unfolding in clear view of imaging satellites. Consider this. China is building 3 new airports at Tashkurgan in Xinjiang, Tingri and Damsung in Tibet, and expanding and upgrading infrastructure at the existing air bases in Kashgar, Hotan, Garigunsa, Lhasa and Bangla. All air bases that can feed directly into the Ladakh standoff and more. Images accessed by India Today show a frenetic pace of construction unrivaled in recent years. New airfields being built and old ones expanded with new taxi tracks, aprons and longer runways. Fighter jets are being pushed under concrete pens with 3 feet thick walls that can withstand direct hits from missiles and air-dropped precision bombs. Launch pads around the bases bristle with HQ-9 long-range missiles which can shoot down aircraft over 100 kilometers away. Concrete has been trucked into various military sites across the plateau since May. One government source mentions having counted up to 800 trucks working at various sites across the plateau. In March this year, the Chinese government approved plans to construct 20 multi-purpose airfields in Tibet. All signals that point to one thing: China is preparing for war, or at the very least, a new escalation and expansion in this conflict.
China's aggressive aviation buildup is aimed at offsetting the Indian Air Force's advantages in the region. The IAF maintains a string of air bases at lower altitudes from which it can launch combat jets with meaningful weapon loads to Ladakh and beyond. China is attempting to chip away at this advantage.
The Rafale jets that joined Indian service last year have become a staple in Ladakh airspace. Their sensors keeping a hawk's eye on Chinese radiations and movements. Since August last year, China has periodically deployed its most advanced fighter aircraft, the 5th generation J-20, at bases like Hotan near the standoff zone. War games conducted by the Shillong-based Eastern Air Command some years ago described waves of Chinese bombers flying over the Himalayas and saturating IAF air bases with long-range cruise missile strikes. Worryingly for the Indian Air Force, over the past few months, the PLAAF and PLA Army have networked their missile units, creating vast air defense bubbles over the plateau. China's determined aviation build-up is a clear message to India that the piecemeal troop pullback in February may have been good to calm temperatures and reassure the world. It is too early to predict if the enhanced military aviation infrastructure will lead to a pattern of Chinese air intrusions of the kind seen over the South and East China Seas to intimidate Japan and Taiwan. But experts say nothing can be ruled out. This war has clearly only just begun.
There is a major rebalance that's currently underway. The threat now is more at India's northern borders. Before 2021, 9 of the Army's 13 plus corps were aimed to counter Pakistan. The Indian Army had about a little over 4 corps to checkmate China. Now there is a rebalance exercise, and that rebalancing of formations is currently underway. The threat remains both on the Pakistan and on the China front, but now additional resources are being mobilized to checkmate China. So there are about 50,000 additional soldiers that are being deployed, acclimatized and deployed to checkmate China in Ladakh. Sandeep Unnithan and Shiv Arur get us more.
The most hostile high-altitude battlefield on Earth, with close to 200,000 soldiers now deployed along both sides of the line of actual control. A giant chessboard of a standoff zone, where Chinese Wakey moves are being matched by Indian Chaturang counter moves. As the two Asian heavyweights engage in a high-altitude power game, tanks, troops, missiles and fighter jets are the pieces in the game. But the last 15 months of the Ladakh standoff has forced the Indian Army into one of its biggest ever reorientations. The Indian Army, which once extensively planned and prepared for warfare on the plains of Punjab and the sandy wastes of the Thar Desert, is now reconfiguring itself to fight along a second front. The high-altitude deserts of the world's toughest battlefield. The official term for this move towards the north is rebalancing. Before 2021, 9 of the Army's 13.5 corps faced Pakistan, while 4.5 faced China. Now the ratio has changed to 8 corps facing Pakistan and 6 China. Close to 50,000 fresh troops have been moved along the LAC. The most significant move has been the Mathura-based 1 Strike Corps aimed at Pakistan's heartland being wheeled around and directed northwards towards Chinese-occupied Aksai Chin. A Rashtriya Rifles division-sized force of around 15,000 meant to fight insurgency has been dislodged from Jammu and Kashmir and moved to Ladakh. The Panagarh-based Mountain Strikes Corps has been reinforced with a 2nd division in Ranchi, exclusively focused in the eastern sector.
After decades of a largely peaceful boundary dispute, the last 15 months have changed everything along the LAC. Parts of the LAC have been hardened, a military term which indicates that defenses have been manned, arms and ammunition repositioned, troops acclimatized to fight at high altitude, and the Air Force kept on alert.
Before 2020, there was just 1 infantry division in Ladakh. There are now 4 divisions there. The Leh-based 14 Corps has begun the process of winter stocking, stockpiling food and fuel for the winter, which sets in October, to cater to this expanded garrison. The rebalancing represents the Indian Army's largest since independence. China's actions, matched by India, have turned the undemarcated boundary into the world's longest, most dangerous military frontier, poised on the brink of conflict. More than fighting an all-out conventional war, the Indian Army's deployments appear to be aimed at stopping further Chinese incursions and using its troops to launch what are called quid pro quo operations to capture enemy territory, which can then be exchanged in negotiations. Even so, these deployments are fraught with risk because the specific border protocols codified in 1996 have collapsed after the 2020 PLA incursions.
India's defense modernization suffered in the lost decade between 2004 and 2014. Defense modernization suffered at a time when the adversaries were rapidly building up. But there is now a desperate catch-up game that is on. India made an emergency purchase of about 36 Rafale fighter jets for 1 squadron at Ambala and for the 2nd squadron to be deployed at Hashimara to counter any threat in the east. But clearly, this isn't enough. India has now started paperwork for the acquisition of another 36 Rafale fighter jets. Sandeep Unithan with this India Today exclusive.
"200,000 troops massed along both sides of the standoff line. A new status quo that has grown roots. If China had arrived at Ladakh's doorstep to create facts on the ground, that is precisely what it has done. But what are India's options now? For India, rapidly building up military muscle to deter China from provoking a conflict is now an imperative. The Ladakh standoff has already triggered India's rush for new weapons system. Government sources say that the Indian Air Force has begun paperwork to order 36 additional Rafale fighters, adding to the 36 Rafales it purchased from France in 2016, and whose deliveries will be completed by June 2022. India's 2nd Rafale squadron was recently inaugurated at Hashimara in the eastern sector. The Air Force wants the deal to be signed quickly so that the next batch of jets can start deliveries after 3 years. The Air Force needs to increase the number of blast pens for its aircraft and start storing critical aviation infrastructure like fuel and stores underground to protect them from preemptive attacks. The army, which mans the standoff zone with thousands of troops and equipment, also knows it needs more armament soon. For starters, it has kick-started the process to procure 350 light tanks. Unlike the heavy battle tanks that the Indian Army uses, light tanks would have unmatched agility in mountainous terrain and therefore be able to fetch up or access more areas. They would be capable of rapid movement, and very importantly, their size and weight means that they can be air transported at short notice. The army is also looking for 400 additional artillery pieces to equip its newly deployed formations in Ladakh. The army's new indigenously manufactured K9 Vajra T self-propelled howitzers have been rushed to Ladakh, with more to follow, but the requirement is much larger. While India's counter-operations surprised and caught China off guard following the first wave of aggressions last year, the fact that Chinese have not pulled out shows that they are here for the long haul, with clear objectives. Analysts therefore believe India needs to focus on hardening the LAC to raise the costs of a Chinese invasion. More than piecemeal purchases, India needs to get its long-pending military reforms off the ground. But all things considered, the Chinese military is still much larger and fueled by a much bigger defense budget. To offset at least some of this military imbalance, India is now actively participating in groupings like the Quad with the United States, Japan and Australia. The 4 countries held their largest defense exercise till date in the Bay of Bengal last November, even as the standoff with China continued. The Quad, however, has one great weakness in that it is almost exclusively focused on the maritime domain. Indian officials admit that none of the other 3 members are likely to get involved in a Sino-Indian land dispute. That battle is for India to fight on its own. The Indian Navy is believed to have contingency plans to interdict Chinese shipping in the Malacca Straits in the event of a conflict on land, but this move could be fraught with enormous risk as it could disrupt international shipping. What India could do is perhaps use its statecraft and reshape maritime muscle to deploy in the South China Sea more robustly and create pressures on China. Besides, of course, keep leveraging the Indian Navy's greater power in the Indian Ocean region. With China threatening to breathe fire down the Himalayas, no option can be considered too far-fetched.
The recent visit of the Chinese President Xi Jinping to Ningxi, close to Arunachal Pradesh border, has been a cause for grave concern. This is a signal. It signals a certain hardening of Chinese stance. It is in India's national interest to continue to build and build extensively along the LAC to keep China in check. That is all we have time for on this special edition of Battle Cry. Many thanks for watching. For all the latest news and updates, continue watching India Today.